What up, everybody? Welcome back. So I got some stuff to do the other wiring to finish off for my remote wires. I'll show you guys that here in a second. I did put down some little 1/2-inch wire loom straps, and that's just holding in those the speaker wires and tweeter wires as it runs through here. There is a pop-in little, come on brain, zip tie that hooks in here that has like a pop in, so it pops into one of those holes that's down there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So was supposed to send off the amp this week, didn't get around to sending that off yet, so the amp is packaged up and ready to go out, and there is the amplifier. We'll get that sent off as soon as I can, so I can get that back as soon as I can, so I can finish up the wiring. I want to hopefully order up the subs either like right after Christmas or towards the first of the year, so I can get those in and get those set up. It's going to take a little while to get in. I did change up the subs that I'm getting, so they're still coming from Alibaba. It's just a different brand of amp. I also did get some 1-inch strap, and this might be a little too big, I'm not sure, but the 1/2-inch ones that I was using for over there didn't work to hold down that the 2-inch power wire, so I got some padded metal ones that are 1-inch, so they should work. I just picked up a pack of those so I can actually get those get strapped down there, and that'll become semi-permanent thing. Anyways, I picked up some connectors for hooking up and extending the remote wires, so we're gonna get those done up inside there, and I'll extend those. This is how I'm gonna extend it. This is actually trailer wire, and I'm going to pull off one of the wires, so I'll cut off what I need off of here. This stuff's always good to have around, and then I will just connect them in there, and then I'll split it once it gets out to where it's going. So that should work, and then I'll just make jumpers that'll come off of it. I'll have like little, like if I can find a small enough connector as like a kind of like a Y connector. So instead of like 8 gauge or 4 gauge or whatever, I'll see if they make one that's small enough that can go down to like 10 gauge or 16 gauge, 14 gauge, somewhere in there, 10 gauge, 14 gauge, even 12 gauge if it goes down far enough. I mean, I can manage. I can put some ferrules on there and then just stick them in there, and the ferrule would help to get it up to from 14 gauge up to that. Anyways, so that is what I'm going to do. As you can hear, the heater's running again, always. I don't know. It runs, it shuts off for a while, but it seems like every time I'm turning on the camera or I get ready to set up to start recording this stuff, the stupid heater kicks on. Just one of those things. Today I might also see if I can weld that in, or at least grind around it and then see how it's going to work for like tacking it in place or welding it in place. My welder is set to the lowest setting, so we'll see how it works out. I have to find a pretty good ground. I mean, I can shave off a little bit of the paint over there on the box and ground it right to the box, I guess. So we'll see. That's another thing. So I got a lot of stuff to kind of figure out and do. Also got a variety of different bags here for Corona bags as far as the color goes. And so what I'm going to do is chop the bottom off on the Corona bag, whichever color I choose to use. I'm thinking this one. But you guys go ahead and comment down, put it down in the comments which color you would choose to use. It's going to be for the 4-wheel drive shifter bag, so I'm just going to make it as a bag, cut the bottom off, spread it out, and then when I put that plate back down, the plate will actually hold the bag in place, and then I can just cinch the top shut around the shifter, and then that will become part of the bag itself. Will be down here, and it might say Corona somewhere in here, or not Corona, but Crown Royal, I mean, somewhere in there. And so it'll just be a different color, because this bag itself is just the whole boot itself. It's part of this adaptation plate. It's like built into it. I could take this plate off, but I don't really want to mess with that plate. Yeah, so I'll just cover it up and call it good, and add some style or customization to it again. Like, there's always going to be these like little things that I do just to try to make the truck like different and a one-off, so it's not the same as every other truck that you get into, or the same as every other stereo vehicle or whatever, you know. Like, I just want it to look different and have a different appeal to it. That's also why I'm doing that big neon sign in the back too. Cover up the back window, sound deaden over everything, make wood panels and carpet the panels, and I can screw those panels in with 1/4-20 screws or bolts. And then that way then those panels are in place and they cover up everything and they make it look good. And then everything's sound deadened behind the panels. And then I put up the, so everything will be completely sound deadened back there and back there. So you won't see any of this stuff. And then it'll be wood panels that are carpeted. And then there'll be a big, huge neon sign that'll be lit up as like on the dome light switch. So I can turn it on and turn it off as I want to. But it'll be different. It'll not, you don't see that a lot. You did in like mini trucks back in the day. You'd see people doing stuff like that. But you don't see people doing that in sound vehicles or any like really kind of like one-off customization stuff anymore. So I figured I'd be different. Give it a shot anyways. What's it gonna hurt? Doesn't look good, doesn't turn out good. Whatever. You know, that's, yeah, I'm sure the paneling will turn out just fine. It's mounting that neon sign that'll be a problem, but then also if it doesn't turn out good, I can just remove the sign and then it's still just gray paneling back there, and I'm sure that'll look just fine, you know. So that's a thing. We'll get you guys set up, and I'm gonna do some stuff today. I don't know how much I'm gonna get done, but we'll see how it goes. All right, what up everybody? So I got a few things done. I tried to do that welding thing, that didn't work out, so I got to figure out something else for that. So as you guys seen, I ground it off, I put the plate on there. My welder is set as low as it can go. I mean, you can't go any lower than that with this thing. I'll even show you guys here. I think it's still plugged in. So you can turn this up and you turn it down, right? -3 or -3. Now you can turn this up and that gives you your amps, but 35 is the lowest you can go. -3 is the lowest you can go. So unfortunately, I can't go any lower than that. And it was setting up well for like sheet metal tack, you know. So if I had actual sheet metal, like for vehicle thick sheet metal, that tin that the license plate's made out of just sucks. Like it just wouldn't, it would burn right through it, like right through the license plate on the edge. And then the more I try to stack, weld just to get over to where it burnt it, it would just end up burning more of the license plate. So it ended up fucking that license plate up pretty good on them corners and stuff. Yep, that's a thing. So I got a couple corners to hold, and then I was like, yeah, it just kept burning through and it wasn't doing good. And yeah, I don't have a low enough welder to be able to weld tin like that. Maybe with like a Miller welder, something like that. Some of those I think you can get down pretty low. That is just not happening. Anyways, I got most all the wiring done. So I'm done with all of the wiring except for when I do the battery. I gotta set the battery in there. Battery tray, battery, and then wire that in. And then obviously ground off the battery, which will go to ground distribution plate that I have, which is up there. Talked about that in a previous episode. But if you guys are curious and you guys didn't watch that episode, this is the SMD ground distribution plate. So it will be amp, and then battery, and then I'm going to take a 4-aught run right off of this to the ground. So it'll be 0, or I mean 1-aught, 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 2-aught, and then 4-aught out to the actual frame. So I will take I got a Sky High OFC 3 feet coming. I'm going to go off in that corner back there. I have a waterproof grommet coming already for it too. So I'll drill the hole for it, put the grommet in place, slide the wire through, go directly to the frame underneath there in that corner. And then that'll be buried. And then I'll do the ground distribution plate. I'll either mount it directly to the wall, and then you won't have to worry about seeing it. It'll be behind the that false wall, or else I'll put the false wall in place, and then put the plate on the front of that false wall, which that could be a thing as well. Just kind of not sure how I want to set that up yet. I do have my tweeter run for over here that I still got to do. It looks like I didn't get that quite lined up when I just put that back in place, but I can fix that tomorrow. I got to do my tweeter run, so that's going to be taped up kind of like how that one is. And then I'll just run it along the bottom here, and it'll be all wire loomed up. I still got to feed it through that Tex Flex. And then I'll just kind of follow this down and just kind of go along here too, as that is. I took the positive feed from here that was also feeding in for the constant for that. Actually, I think it might be keyed ignition, which is still fine. It just means that there's power to here if there's a key on, which I think that is the thing. I think that one has constant. One of these has constant, and one of them had a miss where it didn't have the, yeah, it's the constant. So there's constant power here. Key on worked, but there was no constant power, I guess. I don't know why. I checked all the fuses and everything underneath there and just couldn't figure it out. So and I think they couldn't figure it out either because they had it, the other deck when they pulled it out was hot wired too. So that's got constant power, loops up, goes to the switch up here, which is where the mirror switch went to. And I removed that and put that up here. Just an easier location, better location. Automatic mirrors are cut out of the way anyways. So that now feeds to here, which feeds power to that pink wire. Pink wire in the back will be power. And then I'll just use the yellow wire as ground because I put the yellow wire underneath there as ground right there. I understand I still have to spray some clear coat on that. So before I leave tonight, I'll spray clear coat on that. I just didn't want to do it right now with me being in here. Small enclosed space or tight enclosed space with paint is never a good thing. I mean, some people might want to, they might think it's a good thing. I don't though. I don't feel like getting high off that crap. Yeah, it bothers me. Same with the truck bed liner or resin. Yeah, like the fiberglass resin, that stuff bothers me too. But you wouldn't think that it would since I do all this stuff. Anyways, I patched in the wire that feeds to the roof lights into this switch, and I put a fuse onto it as well. It has a 30 amp fuse in there. There's also a 30 amp fuse for that light bar because this is the same switch that feeds the light bar. So when I turn that on, it'll turn on power to both of them at the same time. Now I might blow that fuse because it's drawing too much through the switch or whatever, and it's, you know, one wants more power than the other one, so I'll have to figure that out as I go. I probably wouldn't go over 40 anyways though. But right now it's a 30 that's in there, so I could just raise it if I need to. Go to 35, see if it still pops, whatever. I don't know if it will. There's a separate fuse up front that is for the light bar that's up here, and that's right here. So I know that having the light bar tied in with those lights, you know, you can't really just go drive around town with it because you're not supposed to drive around with these light bars on. So what I'll do is I'll take this fuse out, and then I can drive around with the lights on because it'll just act like it's sending power to both of them still. Just the light bar won't power up because it doesn't have a fuse. And then when I'm off-road or something like that, and I'm down by the lakes or hanging out with some friends over by their lake cabin, whatever it might be, I can turn the light bar back on. This, you know, ram catcher that's on the front of this thing isn't going to stop me if I like smoke a deer or something. So I'd like to be able to see. I'm going to get different headlights and put different headlights in here. I guess I'll look to see what I can find. My cousin said these things are too far gone for him to fix. So that's, yeah, that's pretty yellowed. So I'm going to end up getting replacement ones for those, for the lights. Don't know if I'll go projector or not, but maybe if they have a good deal on it, or if I can find some like multi-panel LEDs or something like that, that's like plug and play as a replacement. Maybe I'll do that. That way then I'm not going back to the original housing, even though that I could just go back to the original housing and make it cheaper on myself, but I'm not going to do that. So this light bar will be off until I decide to put the fuse back in it, and then I can run this. This is actually pretty bright, but that's pretty much how I drove around when I drove around on like the back highways and stuff, because you can't see nothing. In town, I just left the regular amber colored lights on and kind of dealt with it because, you know, being inside the city or whatever, it's not that big a deal. There's so many street lights and everything like that, and everybody else's headlights that help light it up. Only thing that I want to do is just even have the amber colored lights on so that a cop sees come, you know, me going at them, them coming towards me, whatever. And they see that I actually have physical lights on and not a light bar, and then I can't get pulled over. So I just ran it with the lights in the amber color. I didn't change any of that stuff yet. I'll have to order that up later. I did order 5 1-aught grommets, waterproof grommets. I only need 2 of them, but it come as a 5-pack and it was cheap enough, so I just ordered those. That way then I can put a grommet in that corner over here, and I can put one inside the bed of the truck. And I think what I'll do is, depending on how big that hole is, I'm going to probably utilize this hole, which is the drain plug. I'll probably just pop this off. If I remember right, yeah, that one didn't sit in there very good. So depending on how big that is, I'll Christmas tree out this oval, and then put that grommet in there and utilize this space. Hopefully it works out that way. Otherwise, I'm going to have to like LoonyMaxx this plug back in place and just Christmas tree somewhere else. But the box will be inside of here, not here. So it'll come straight in a line. So by having the wires here or the grommet here, and then I can come up and I can have my the positive and negative post sticking out from the box right here. That will work out well for me because I can just come up, hook them up, and then it'll go underneath the vehicle and then pop up back right there. So it'll just kind of be like down, crossed, up. And I'll wire loom that, of course, with Tex Flex just to cover it up. I'll have to get some, I don't even know how big that would be, 1/2 inch. Something like that. I think 1/2 inch Tex Flex. Maybe 3/4. I don't know. Probably get both. Just see where I end up. But yeah, I think that'll do for today. Tomorrow, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna run that Tex Flex for the speaker line, or for the tweeter line that I need to still do. Then I think I'm gonna vacuum up all this floor stuff that's down here because I got a lot of junk over there still, and just kind of vacuum this up and get this ready to go. I'm gonna slap that the padding back into it and then start putting the dash back together. I might put my truck in neutral and just push it. It's sitting on the seat belt for that seat. But I think that if I can get that all set up in there with the carpet back in it correctly tomorrow, I think that I'll take and put the carpet back in and then run that seat back in there. There may be a couple other, I might either put the other seat back in too, but I might leave that one out since I got to work with the battery also still. But I can at least put the driver's seat back in case this thing ever needs to actually get moved. Then it would be drivable and movable. And that's kind of the goal that we're going for. Try to get stuff done as fast as physically possible. There's a bunch of gravel on the bottom of this magnetic mount. That's crazy. Actually, it's not gravel. It is metal shavings. I'm just willy-nilly grabbing it with my fingers. That's okay. Never hurt nothing. That's a lie. Anyways, yeah, I got quite a bit of stuff done. I did spray paint that back again. I'll probably second coat that before I leave, just because I'm not going to be messing with that too much. I did grind off most of the rust and paint that was, or the rusted area, and then repainted over the top of it. I think that I'm just going to leave that like that, and I'm going to figure out how to pop rivet some ABS plastic up there maybe, because we do have ABS plastic and shit ton of pop rivets. So if I can just pop rivet up some ABS plastic, maybe I can take the heat gun and heat up the plastic and then push it in the middle to get it to bend to form to that shape. Or I can just put it in the vise and just heat it up and then just warp it as I need to. I think that'll work pretty good for that. I don't have to come all the way over to this side like I was doing with the license plate. I can come up right up to that ridge line and then just kind of go up a little bit. I don't have to go all the way up where I had shaved off for the license plate. License plate was just bigger. I just need to cover that spot so that it doesn't get worse, or mainly so it doesn't shoot water up through that or dirt up through that to get onto the box. I will take the box and I will Herculiner the box so it's done. I'll cut the box, set everything up, get the bottom of it Herculinered and the sides. I'm not entirely sure on what I'm doing for a top yet, because the top might be either standard wood depending on, or I might do plexiglass. What up, everybody? So we got some more stuff done, as you can see in the video. We got the carpet in. That took a bit. That was a bitch. It kept getting caught up on my wires here. So these are my RCAs and the remote wires. So I had to chop out the carpet, and I was just kind of aiming blindly, so I chopped out a bit more than what was necessary. It's a little dark under here. Let me see if I can find a flashlight real quick for you. So there, you guys can probably see better now. But I kept running into the RCAs, and then I ended up chopping out more than what was technically necessary, but that's not a big deal. It's on the driver's side, and whoever sees it, I don't think they're going to care really anyways. And it's just a stereo vehicle. It's not meant to be pretty or look pretty.
I know a lot of people take their time and they sit there and, oh, everything's got to be perfect and everything's got to look this way and that way. And yeah, no, I just went down right in front of that, the heater. So that's part of the heater box or AC box. I could have probably went behind it and dropped behind it and all that stuff, which would have took more time, fishing wires and everything. And then I wouldn't have had to worry so much about the carpet. Although that carpet did go back further, so I still would have had to trim off some of it, just not as much as I did here. So dash is back in, and I did get the put the deck in. That's all done, so I know what's what. For color wise, I should probably write that down anyways in a note, but everything is in. I do need to get a cup holder off of the old interwebs and see what, if anything, that they have for that as a replacement. I'm sure I can get a direct replacement. Still have to cut that out. We got a plasma cutter, so that's over there. And so we're going to end up measuring off what we need to, drill out the holes from the inside of the bed going into the cab here, and then we'll just connect the dot and then just trace it, cut it out from the inside, cut it out from the bedside. We're going to get a fire blanket to throw over the top of that, like a fireproof welding blanket. So those wires, they'll just get moved forward, the blanket will get thrown over the top, and then we'll plasma cut out the port. Once that's done, we'll take the grinder and kind of grind down the edges a little bit and get rid of the, sorry about flashing that flashlight, grind down the edges a bit, and we'll get rid of any burrs that are on there from torching it with the plasma cutter. Other than that, I think it's going to be time to put the seat in and get everything kind of set up. Then it's time to start working on the doors and wiring the doors and get these panels set up on here. We're getting there. It's getting there. So again, that got screwed up. I'll probably put ABS plastic over it. It just needs to stop water from getting in there. I don't really care if it continues to kind of rust out. Eventually, if I keep the vehicle, I'll have to remove the box, and then I'll have new wheel well tubs welded in place and have those ones cut out. But I'll take that someplace and have somebody else do that, not me. So yeah, we're getting there. If you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.